We usually think about history in terms of years, decades, even centuries. But what happens if we just zoom in? Let's put a single 24-hour period under the microscope. Thursday, February 26th, 2026. You'd be surprised what one day can tell us about the entire world. So, what really defines a day? Is it just a countdown of 24 hours on the clock? Or can a single spin of the Earth completely reshape global alliances, push nations to the brink of war, and create new cultural icons all at the same time? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out. Because this particular Thursday, it was a whirlwind. It felt like everything was happening at once. You had this high-stakes, life-or-death diplomacy colliding with major national security threats. And at the same time, massive pop culture moments were just exploding onto the scene. February 26th was a day where the world truly turned. Okay, so our journey starts right in the middle of it all, on the world stage. Two absolutely monumental events were unfolding, and they couldn't have been more different. One was all about building new bridges, and the other, it was threatening to burn old ones to the ground. It was like a global split screen. Over in Tel Aviv, it was all about handshakes and new beginnings. We had Indian Prime Minister Modi making this historic visit to Israel, locking in a new Indo-Abrahamic alliance backed by a massive, multi-billion-dollar defense deal. But then, thousands of miles away in Geneva, the atmosphere was, well, ice cold. US-Iran nuclear talks were back on, but with this incredibly tense, zero-enrichment ultimatum just hanging over everything. And you really have to listen to the words he used. This was so much more than just a polite diplomatic speech. When Prime Minister Modi said this to the Israeli Knesset, he was signaling a seismic shift, the creation of a powerful new strategic bloc connecting South Asia all the way to the Middle East. It was a move designed to completely redraw the geopolitical map.
Meanwhile, back in Geneva, the clock was ticking, and the U.S. was not bluffing. The USS Gerald R. Ford, we're talking the largest concentration of American naval power in the region since 2003, was sitting right there in the Middle East. The message was crystal clear. If a deal isn't reached by the end of the day, the threat of military action was very, very real.
All right, let's pivot from the global stage and bring it back home to the United States, because while all that was going on, tensions were running just as high right here, from shocking military espionage to a huge economic showdown. Then this story just broke wide open across the U.S. A former F-35 instructor pilot arrested, and the charge? Violating the Arms Export Control Act by allegedly training Chinese military pilots. The FBI did not mince words, calling it a betrayal of the highest order. This was a huge signal that a major crackdown on leaking American military secrets was underway. And believe it or not, at that very same moment, a completely different kind of battle was heating up. After years of questions about all those pandemic relief funds, the White House officially declared a war on fraud. And this wasn't just talk. It had immediate and very serious financial consequences. Just look at that number, $259 million. That's how much Medicaid funding for the state of Minnesota was just frozen by the vice president's office. This was a drastic move, all aimed at tackling alleged fraud, and it kicked off a massive showdown between the federal government and a state. Okay, deep breath. We are about to shift gears completely. Because away from all the geopolitics and federal showdowns, the world of entertainment was having its own huge day, and honestly, the headlines were just as captivating. And this is what makes this single day so incredible, right? You've got diplomats arguing over the fate of nations. You've got investigators building these massive cases. And at the same time, superstars are grabbing the world's attention in a totally different way. First up, the music world was just buzzing. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame dropped its nominee list for the class of 2026, and wow, it was a blockbuster. You had first-timers like the iconic Mariah Carey and a reunited Oasis on the ballot, plus legends like Phil Collins and Lauryn Hill, all up against returning heavyweights like Iron Maiden. What a list. But the entertainment world wasn't done yet. Oh no. Over in Udaipur, India, what everyone was calling the wedding of the year was happening. South Indian superstars Rashmika Mandanna and Vijay Deverakonda got married, and the hashtag Viraj just went absolutely viral. The whole world, it seemed, was waiting for just one picture from the celebration. So, what happens when we put it all together? You take the high-stakes politics, the national security alerts, the global celebrity events, and what you get is this incredible snapshot of a planet that is in constant, chaotic, and just utterly captivating motion. This table really sums up the day, doesn't it?
A huge political power shift in the Middle East, a massive security breach story in the US, a pop culture explosion with the Rock Hall noms, a major domestic policy battle. And oh, by the way, quietly in the background, another sign of the global economy chugging along, Apple opening its 6th flagship store in India. Each one a major story, all of it unfolding on the very same day.
So on this one day, worlds didn't just collide, they coexisted. Alliances were being forged at the exact same moment others were being tested. New superstars were being celebrated as devastating secrets were being revealed. And if all of this can happen in just 24 hours, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What critical story is unfolding right now, maybe hidden in plain sight, that's going to define our world tomorrow?